Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Tiān 2, episode 9 this week. And what an episode it's going to be after the events of last episode. Last time, we saw our brave and intrepid adventurers leaving Shiraknatau after business there seemed to be settled, and on their way heading up to Rest Yard in order to investigate further into the matters at hand. About 2 weeks into their travel, they came across something. Something long thought to be merely folklore and legend, something to scare kids into behaving. But apparently, the legend of Puddlefoot is all too real. In battling this monster, they nearly ran into a disaster in Leanna being caught by the monster's grasp after it scared off the other two. But luckily, due to their strength and perseverance, they were able to fight this monster into a retreat. And now, we find our three adventurers left back in the field. No trees, nothing for miles. The rain starting to disappear, and the sun ever so slowly starting to peek back out. What do you guys do?
Hyperventilate.
And Estelle's immediately going to check on Leona again.
She's not doing great. The calm and adrenaline of battle has worn off, and now everything that just happened is hitting her, especially considering the last time she was engulfed in water, what had happened. She's shaking and barely holding back tears.
As soon as Estelle sees your current condition, she's just going to hold you close to comfort Leona and just be a presence.
Not even seeing that it's Estelle, Leanna's going to initially flinch from the contact and then look, see who it is, lean into it.
It's alright. It's alright. It's gone.
But who's to say it won't come back?
Well,
Came out of
fair.
nowhere.
That is a possibility, but it is highly unlikely, and on the very rare chance that it does, we will do exactly what you just did.
I'm doing something different.
Obviously. Yes, please do something different, but you will
I tried to dodge when it went to engulf me, and
But you are not there anymore, okay?
but I was.
You are safe now, okay? You are safe, and let's just appreciate that for the time being, alright?
I'll try.
Okay. And she's just still just tight hug, trying to be as
With
comforting as possible.
With visible effort, Leanna manages to stop shaking.
It has some new tricks to be able to make that go a little bit smoother if it does decide to come back.
If.
I hope with everything I have that it doesn't. I hope where Rust Yards doesn't have a body of water near it, right?
No.
Good. Alright. Let's go find a place to camp. I don't know how much farther I can go today.
Alright. Then, Stowe will, pull away and for just a moment, give a tight squeeze on the shoulder and say, if there's anything you need, just let me know, okay?
I will.
Okay. Alright, let's try to find someplace good nearby. And I would very much like to, if it's alright, roll a survival check to see if there's anywhere suitable to set up camp.
Okay, yeah, roll survival.
Alright. Okay, natural 20, first roll of the day. Alright. For a total of 28.
Okay. Hold on. Let me look at something here. Okay. Okay, that's... Yeah, none of that's gonna be of any help. Let's see. The problem in lying the fact that you guys are currently in... Right now, you're like in the middle of Iowa. It is flatland for as far as you can see. It stretches for miles in every direction. But I would say with a 20 in survival, I would say that... How wacky do we want to go with this? Yeah, let's go wacky. Estelle, you would register that finding like a cave or a tree or an alcove is quickly not going to happen. There is nothing here. But I think it would occur to her to ask not only herself, but perhaps for some assistance, someone else that knows this land better. And I think that it would occur to Estelle to ask a nearby friend. And I won't count it against your spell count, but I think that she would On a natural 20 survival, think to cast Speak with Animals. And as you're looking, you do find a happy little gopher who looks up to you and kind of quirks an eyebrow at you and turns his head. You look a little lost.
Yeah, we are. We're looking for somewhere to have a good shelter for the night. Do you know of anyone nearby for people like us?
The gopher strokes his imaginary goatee and looks beyond you and over to Paseth and Leanna, and he says to you, "Yeah, give me a minute. I'll work on it." And the gopher burrows back underground.
Okay. He said he'll work on it? Saying that to the rest of the group.
I caught your half, not his.
Yeah, he said we looked lost. I asked for help, and he said that he'll work on it. Give him a minute. I don't know what that means.
Well, we'll find out.
Hopefully it doesn't involve being covered in mud.
About
It very well might, but I'll basically take anywhere.
about 10 or so minutes of waiting, and the gopher pops back out of the hole, looking around, and makes eye contact with you, Estelle, and you notice him kind of gesture his tiny little paw over, beckoning you over.
So we'll go over.
And he starts moving some of the leaves, and then you see another gopher, and then a third one pop up about 6 or 7 feet away from him, and they start removing some leaves too. And they clear out the ground in a big old circle, and it just looks like ground underneath, but then with kind of like folded arms and a bit of a arrogant demeanor. The gopher you talk to steps on it, and it crumbles. The top layer of soil crumbles underneath, revealing a tunnel underground.
Estelle audibly blinks. Okay, this would definitely help, but thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
The 2 other gophers disappear, and the gopher you talk to winks at you and says, "Anything for a friend." And he retreats as well.
Alright, well, let's see where this leads.
Yeah.
I'm good with tight spaces.
Yeah, tight spaces are fine.
Is Paseth riding into it in centaur mode?
Probably depends on how big is it? How big is the tunnel?
The opening itself is about 7 feet wide.
Probably so that I'm not so cramped I would get off.
Okay.
Barrel bot and box bot separately.
Okay, you all can fit in here. You kind of have to crouch and it's wide enough for you guys to sleep in here. It doesn't go far down into the ground. It's only about I would say at most 10 feet deep. So it's not like you're going into like the underdark kind of thing here. It's mainly just a shelter, about 7 feet wide, 10 feet deep, about maybe 5 feet tall. So, and it's freshly dug up ground, so the soil is fairly soft. But yeah, it would look like suitable shelter for rest and recharging the batteries for another day.
Oh, this looks wonderful.
Yeah. Right, well, let's get set up.
Yeah.
Are you guys just...
I will fly out of the barrel, having a couple of crystals in hand, sticking them into the walls, and artificer infusions just to make them lightly glow, so we have a little bit of light.
Okay. The makeshift cave is lit well enough?
Yeah, the magical tinkering. There we go.
Did you guys immediately want to go into a long rest, or are there some things you wish to discuss?
Leanna just needs to sleep.
Yeah, Estelle is worried and wants to make sure she's okay, but seeing how Leanna is, just letting her be for the time being is probably the best thing. So seeing her immediately go to sleep, she'll probably try to get a little bit of relaxation. Maybe not a full sleep, but it's definitely time to take a rest.
And Passeth?
I'll continue working on my gift.
Okie dokie. Then, while you're working on your gift, can I get another craftsman's check? I believe I told you woodcarvers last time?
Yeah. There we go. 18 plus 8.
Oh, Jesus.
So 26, yeah.
So, just as a reminder, I believe that this altercation did happen fairly early in the day. So, I would say about the current time was maybe a little afternoon. So, Leanna, you rest, and Estelle, you take a load off and just try to deep breathe out the events of earlier. While Passeth, you work and toil, getting your mind refocused and recalibrated after the frenzy that it was put into mere minutes ago. And I think the inspiration of the primal fear that you felt, a little bit of perhaps a knock to the ego, and a desire to push past what you've experienced, the frustration of not being able to finish off the creature, perhaps a feeling of, I don't like to use a word like shame because that's a strong word, but perhaps maybe Passeth leaving behind Leanna and Estelle in that moment strikes him in a certain way. Whatever that may be, there is a drive to you to get this next project done. And over the course of the remainder of the sunlight hours, at about 6 p.m., as dusk has fully taken the sky and the sun has left, Passeth, you have finished your next gift.
Kind of test it out a little bit on the side of something just to see how sharp they are. Like, that's actually pretty decent. Alright. I think they're done. And I fly out and go to Leanna.
She is fast asleep. Like beyond like the 8-hour rest, she's not just physically exhausted, completely mentally exhausted. So she's probably just gonna end up sleeping through the night as well. Because a lot of her new trauma buttons just got pressed real hard.
Right, I think she needs that rest. I'll just bind it in a little bit of rope and leave it by her. So it's there for her in the morning.
Okay.
And now I can go to sleep.
Estelle, as you've been resting and kind of to your own thoughts, tending to your own anxieties, you have noticed this transpire after hours of work. Passeth flies out, notices Leanna sleeping, then leaves something by her and returns to Boxbot to rest.
Yeah. So, she will, not touch it, but go over to it to see if she can gather what it is. Try to see if there's anything, about it.
Would you like to describe it again? or more thoroughly, Passive?
Uh, without touching it, it would look like a block of wooden playing cards. At the very top, you would see probably like the ace or something.
The Seeker.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, she will smile, and uh, go outside to talk to Passive. Hey,
They would
Passive.
specifically be they would look like somewhat related to us. How did I have? Um,
Uh, it, Before you answer that, Passive, are you sleeping in Boxspot?
yeah, I went to rest at least.
Okay. Just for clarification. I do have the plans laid out if you need.
Right, there we go. Yeah, you would see the top car is the Northern Star.
And then Estelle walked over to Boxspot to address Passive.
Hey, Passive.
Yeah.
I saw you do something for Leon. It looked like playing cards or something.
Yep, designed each card myself. Just like your staff.
Um, it's very thoughtful of you, and I'm sure she'll love it when she wakes up.
Just nice to give gifts sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I want to ask you something. Uh, when you said back in Shrek Hotel that when you first saw when you first touched that flower and you had that vision, you saw the maestro, your sister, and someone else. Am I remembering that right?
That's correct.
I what I am very much hoping that this isn't the case, but what do you think are the chances that you're that they got to your sister like they did to Luan and Soleil?
I find that very likely. Kind of trying not to think about it, but that has been on my mind.
I, I'm sorry to bring it up. I
Oh no, it's fine. It's my mind's a steel trap. You can't keep anything out of it for too long.
Well, if there comes a time when we do all find our family again, when we find Alayla, Soleil, Luan, and your sister, I hope we can get through to them. Because
Ew.
I wish I knew what to say to them back then. I felt like I couldn't do anything about it at the time, but now I'm just thinking, what could I have said? What could I have done to show them, to convince them that I never abandoned them, that I was always going to be there for them? But I guess a year of someone giving you lies is stronger than just 10 minutes of conversation.
Thankfully, I mean, unfortunate, but thankfully, I've had a little bit of you guys gave me a little experience of what to expect.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can get my little speech down right.
And you at least have a forewarning of how she was convinced, right? So you have a way to build up, well, what's the word? A strong argument built around it.
That's correct. Uh, Still tricky though with dwarves and the family line, family business.
It,
Be quite stubborn. So any good arguments gonna not really stick.
yeah, if, well, she is your sister, so if she's half as stubborn as you, that's gonna be one tough fight.
Is where I got it from mostly. Just hope she's not doing anything stupid with our old folks.
We can hope and pray. Uh, Actually, if you don't mind my asking, what's her name?
Dang it, I need to look back into my backstory. Don't have it memorized. Her name's Ashal.
A show.
Ashal Beaverbeard.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
No, they find it hilarious just as much as I do. But that's what you get for when you're working with wood. You get a woodsman's name. You should see my dad. He has these massive buck teeth. It's ridiculous.
Now I'm just imagining your family trying to hide beaver tails.
No, that's the only little beaver quirk they have. Is just him. It's
Oh,
just very unfortunate.
she she has this little, not a literal, not literally this time, but there's a metaphorical twinkle in her eye, and she says, "Do you think it'd be too cruel of a joke to appear as a beaver if we ever meet?"
I wouldn't say cruel. It'd just be funny. And we live pretty close to a beaver dam. It's kind of why the family name stuck.
Well, I guess it's decided then. Oh, this is going to be. That's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it already.
I know, like, I have a fairy brother who's working to become a druid. He might be a druid now. I'm not sure. I haven't really stayed in contact that much with him. But he's been able to wild shape as well. And you're very shiny, I must say. Do your I actually haven't seen you in your wild shape form, like any animal form. Do they become just as shiny, or
Um, I guess it kind of depends on person to person. Usually for me, I try to be as normal of the animal that I'm transforming into as much as I can. But the one thing that I've never really been able to, I guess, normalize, quote unquote, is the eye color. It always stays blue and green like mine.
yeah, that I've noticed that. But with my brother, he always had his wing patterns always go onto the animals' backs.
Ooh, that is very fun. That's interesting.
You can always tell if that's him or if just another random wild bear.
Okay, the phrase "another random wild bear" kind of unsettles me.
Well, bears go all over the place.
I
They
mean,
go wherever they want.
that's understandable, but the another part, implying this has happened many times, I just find
Oh,
it
you have
humorous.
no idea. In the Feywild, it's crazy over there. You find wild bears, you find blink dogs, you find uh, I there's a couple of displacer kittens wandering through our home once before. Thankfully, their mom wasn't around.
Hmm. Yeah, I've Admittedly, I've never really been the best at studying, so I've only kind of recently started taking things seriously because of. And then she makes like a wide uh gesture with her arms, kind of like an all of this kind of gesture. Uh, but the Feywild is something that's always interested me, with having, well, now two fairy friends. I've... What was it like for you?
Um, the phrase "every day was an adventure" doesn't really hold a candle to it. That's why we needed to become these forces so we can protect ourselves. That's why I wanted to build something incredible so I can bring it back home and be able to protect my family and prove that I'm just as good as any druid or any fighter, any knight, any woodland warrior.
Well, from what I've seen, your inventions are amazing, and I would say that you are well on your way to proving exactly that. Actually, no, not that you're just as good, even better.
But I'm still looking for that special something.
Hmm. That's understandable. Well, it it is getting kind of late, so you've been working all day. I don't want to keep you up halfway through the night.
It's only 7:30.
Well, yeah, that is true. I just thought maybe you'd be tired with this. I don't know. I genuinely do not know how much work it is for you. I've never really been that handy. Not much of a tinkerer.
Sorry, I was a little distracted.
You're good. Uh, so so basically just said, yeah, don't know how much work it is. Haven't been much of a tinkerer.
Not for everybody, but that's fine. You do your best with what you're skilled with.
Hmm. Yeah, hmm, I've always been just fascinated with the stars, and out of everything, that's what I've worked the hardest to understand, to master, to be able to just take a cursory glance at the sky and say, right there, that's the name of that star, and that's what it signifies in the overall constellation, and what it all could mean, what it all is. And just I don't know, just the stars and all of that, just space up there is just so fascinating to me because it just makes everything seem so much simultaneously bigger and smaller. It makes the world at large seem bigger to show that who knows how far away that star is, and it also makes it smaller by just giving perspective of how big everything is.
Everything's bigger to me.
I mean, yeah, I guess it would be, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that everything is always something bigger. No matter how big you are, it's always something bigger. Even the stars that you see outside. Even this hunk of rock that we're floating on. There's always something bigger.
hmm Well, if you've taught me anything, it's not the literal size that counts. It's the heart inside, and you've got a lot of it.
I certainly hope so.
Well, hopefully your heart isn't too large, considering
No, that would be very unhealthy.
yeah, yeah. What are you even talking about anymore?
It was a busy day.
Yeah.
That was only the morning.
hmm I hope Leon is okay. I hope she's not. I hope she will be.
That was really big. That was scary. It even scared me.
Yeah.
Not
I
usually one to scare easily, but that shook me.
I wish it would have been me that it had taken, just so she didn't have to go through that.
It'd be better if none of us were taken.
I mean, that's the ideal, but I don't know. Hmm.
So, do you guys bed down for the evening?
Yep.
Yeah, that seems like a good spot to end the conversation. Estelle will say that she's starting to feel tired now, wish you a good night, and head on into the tunnel to get some rest.
Okay. You're all sleeping in the tunnel, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Estelle is definitely.
Yep.
Okie doke. So, after a very energy consuming day and a draining one, to say the least, you guys do find rest and do find somewhat of peace during this time as the new morning comes to be. As the new morning comes to be, Leanna, after getting upwards of about 16 hours of sleep, and the rest of you getting upwards of over almost 10 hours of sleep-ish, you find yourselves awakening to a fairly, especially considering Tiān 2, fairly warm morning, bright, and I can't speak for what Leanna would notice first, the deck of cards, or something that you would all notice immediately, and that is in the entrance, essentially, towards this little bunker that you guys made, is a little bottle sitting there.
What the heck's that?
What? Huh?
I don't know what that is. Then Estelle's gonna walk over to investigate it.
Leanna's going to see the box in front of her, look at it, smile, put it in her bag, and see what everyone else is fussing about.
Okay. Estelle, if you wish, you can roll investigation. I'm guessing you're using your glasses.
Yeah, huh?
Okay, doke.
Right, and rolled 18.
18. Yeah, looking at this, there really isn't much magic to it, which to you narrows down considerably what this is. As you kind of look at the bottle, it feels kind of just cool on the outside. It's made of glass. It's more not like something you would find in a lab. It's more of a brown glass on the outside. And as you look at the top, it's cylindrical in shape. And you look at the top and there's a cork in it. And as you kind of pull off the cork, you give it a whiff. And the concoction inside smells natural. Smells not quite like home, but similar. And your mind kind of churns for just a minute. And then it strikes you. This smells like a health potion.
It's interesting. It's a health potion. like it. Almost like it's made from wood. Well, certainly kind, whoever sent it.
Ayana, did you drop one?
No. No, I didn't.
Hmm.
And I'm assuming I have you to thank for the box when I woke up?
Oh, it's not a box, it's wooden cards.
Oh. Her eyes sparkle as she pulls it out and opens it up.
Do you wish
Thank
to
you.
describe this? Or do you want me to describe this, Paseth?
I have it up right now.
Okay.
The ace is the North Star. 2 is two hands reaching out for each other. 3 are the 3 points of Paseth's harpoon. Like the main points, the side points, and the end shaft point. 4 is a depiction of you in a pose with your hands and feet as points. 5 is an archer's bow. 6 is the wood centaur, the depiction of the wood centaur. 7 is points surrounded a lucky coin. 8 is box bot that looks raising its feet against another twin box bot with sharper piercing legs in comparison to mine. 9 is the different damage types, motes of fire, ice, lightning, acid, poison, necrotic, radiant, and psychic, and thunder. 10 is actually just a little bit of a joke. It's a beaver chewing on a log. The jack is Paseth himself with barrelbot and boxbot in an action pose. The queen is Estelle in her shiny celestial form in a pose. And the king is Leanna front-facing with cards surrounding her.
This is incredible. Thank you.
And they're just as sharp as your regular playing cards, so you have more cards to deal with
Thank you.
that you can fight with.
More cards to deal with.
Oh yeah.
I'll treasure them. Thank you.
Alright, it was fun doing a little bit of portrait work. Obviously, I don't have that much magic in me, so I can't enchant them to do something special, but it's just very nice. Very nice wood. Very sharp.
Not magic or otherwise. It's incredible.
You're just beaming.
So, what are you guys doing this morning?
Well, first things first is just double checking with Leona to see how a good night's rest after.
It helped a lot. Helped a lot.
That's good. alright to ask, I know what happened the last time something like that happened. Are you alright? Anything similar going on?
No, nothing happened. I'm as surprised as you are, to be honest. Is the second that it happened, I thought that I was going to see it again. But I didn't even have to worry about not breathing.
Oh. That's at least one small good thing out of that entire mess, right?
Yeah, yeah. Why I was able to focus in the end.
That's good. Well, let's get breakfast in us and head on out, hit the road.
Yeah,
Sound good?
yeah. Let's get the hells out of here.
Alright.
And we should probably do something for the chipmunks.
Yeah. Alright, let's do this. And Estelle is going to uh, basically druid craft up a little like out of the grass. She's going to use druidcraft to weave like basically a very small but small and noticeable leaf bowl essentially, and uh, after that going to cast Goodberry, and she's going to leave three berries there. Well, no, not three. She's going to make the full 10 and uh, leave uh, leave all 10 in the bowl so that if they want to, they can eat multiple, or if they know more, then share. That's up to them. But she's going to leave it near the entryway to the tunnel that they dug.
Okay. So, as you guys get a little bit of food in you and begin taking off for the day, as you guys walk off, you can all clearly hear, not so far behind you, the sound of small, ravenous mouths having a meal just at the back of, or just at the back of the entrance of the cave. Now we are journeying again. So can I get someone to roll a survival check?
I am good to roll if people would like. I know I've been rolling a lot, so I just want to ask.
Go ahead.
You know what? Why not? Let me do it. I want to do
Alright.
it. Come on, +1.
Let's see what chaos this brings.
Oop, isn't that rolling? Uh-oh.
I do not see it on my end.
Same.
Yeah, also same.
D20 then, add +1. Or maybe the whole thing's just not working for me.
Yeah, I would suggest refreshing. That should help.
Refreshing. Phone, don't die me now.
There we are. I see it. It's in the middle of rolling.
Oh yeah, that's a 3.
Better.
Oh,
It's still
Oh
overall better than
yeah.
my nat 1.
yeah, yeah. Still better than in that one.
Oh yeah, that's a 3.
Or is it? No.
The return to Puddlefoot.
Puddlefoot 2, the puddling.
So before we get into that, I do have a question.
Ye-
For the new set of cards, how would we choose which card was thrown?
uh,
Um,
oh,
I mean, right now that doesn't matter. They're not magical right
Okay.
now. Those were just suggestions that I had if they were
Okay.
magical.
Okay.
If we could enchant them somehow.
yeah. So, if you do throw them at all, just treat them like your
Regular
normal.
cards.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, for the wild card, pick a card thing, it's based off my damage die, and that's only a d4, so I was like, I don't know how I pick these.
Yes, but just let me know what you are throwing when you do throw it.
Okay.
Okay. So the rest after Puddlefoot was nice, but the trek is a bit uncomfortable. After the rains that Puddlefoot brought in, it's a bit humid, sticky, and the the clouds are broken away, so it's just direct sunlight. So there's no real reprieve, even in, you know, shade. It still feels uncomfortable. Again, since Tiān 2 is mainly fall, it's like a balmy 60 degrees. But, yeah, it's, for what you guys are normally used to, it's a bit eh. But Passeth, can I get you to roll me a percentile die?
On it.
Roll that D100. I will die if it's a natural 100.
$68. Almost nice.
Oh, so close.
Close.
Almost nice. So, as you guys have made your travels and have made a concerted effort to get up to Rust Yard, there is a bit of a small deviation as you notice in the path in front of you a weird sight. There is a stout individual who seems to be, given your bigger legs, you're catching up on them, but seems to be walking in the same direction on the path that you are. And it's weird. This individual has what can only be described as total tourist garb on. This individual has socks with sandals, has shorts on but are flower printed, and same with his shirt. He has a lei around his neck and a big sun hat. But they are currently, their back is currently to you as they're walking forward, and you're just kind of catching up to them based on your longer stride.
I do lean over to someone and say, I really want that hat. I don't know why, but I really want that hat.
Well, next time we're in town, see if you could find one similar. That would actually fit you.
But I want his hat.
Hey guys, I want to steal some shit.
I don't know why, but I want his hat specifically.
You
God.
could go offer to buy it from him.
Rest of his outfit just screams that you'd be annoying to talk to.
Well, I definitely don't condone just taking it.
Yeah.
I know, it's... Oh no, that's not very good of me.
If you really do want the hat, and you really don't want to talk with the person, I could try for you. I have no guarantees, but
Feel like here's the thing. I know we're not going the shortest route possible to the rest yard, but I have a feeling that it's destiny that we ran into this person just so that I can get the hat.
I have significant trouble with the concept of destiny.
I think the hat's calling to me though.
if you want the hat so bad, I guess just try your best.
Mm.
So what are we doing?
Yeah.
Leanna's going to sigh, toss a hand up in the air and wave and go, "Hello."
The figure stops for a moment and turns, and you see a fairly full white beard, and you notice that there appears to be some sort of like white cream on his nose, and big old sunglasses with red trims around them. And
No, I want the sunglasses too.
Does he know Bartholomew?
oh, what did you say, Maru?
I said, does he know Bartholomew?
And as you try and get a look, despite the fact there's this sun hat over him, there's a kind of sheen coming off of his skin. It's almost like it's reflective. And there's a momentary pause as before he was kind of walking jauntily, like arms up towards his chest, and he turns to look at you, and you notice this, and then his arms drop as he just stares at you. And then he starts running towards you.
Any hostility?
He is currently running with his arms open wide.
Oh dear.
Go ahead.
Does he at all look like the only thing that's popping through my mind is Bartholomew, but I don't know. Does he at all look similar to him?
No, because Bartholomew is human sized. This is a stout folk.
Stout folk. Sorry, I must have missed that.
I recognize him at all.
As you try and process that really quick, he arrives at you since you were the one leading this charge, and he wraps Boxbot in a hug.
I'm sorry, I am usually so good at remembering faces.
Oh, it's okay. You didn't really get to see much of me last time. I didn't even say my name. I didn't think I'd see you again so soon. And the individual takes off the glasses and off of his hat, and you see a shiny chrome dome up top, except for white hair along the sides. And that is when you get a clear indication that his skin is a almost sickly colored gray. And he looks up at you and makes eyes with you in particular, Estelle. And he says, I didn't get to introduce myself last time. My name's Malmon. And that is where we will take our break.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Alright.
One of them survived.
It's probably the one we let go. But yeah, I'm gonna head on out, go cook and eat dinner, and I'll be back soon.
How do you spell Malmund?
Malmun.
Yeah, I'm gonna go give my dog his meds, and I will be actually eating at around 7, because that's when the food I ordered will be here.
Okie doke.
Right, so I will be back momentarily.
Okay. And Blinks, are you going to go off and do something?
I have food sitting in front of me.
Okie
that
doke.
I would like to start eating.
Okay, then I will take over while you guys get some munchies. So, everyone, welcome back to the halftime show. It's good to be back, good to be in my spot. I did promise, or I did say that there was going to be a May 24th beginning of our Tales of Zadia campaign, but I decided to postpone that until next Tuesday, given that the Cortex game system is very hard for newbies like myself who are just used to 5e. And so we had a half session to kind of just get used to the game system. So this Tuesday, we will have a game. So that will be the case. We will not have. We will start it beginning of June and go through June. July, we're essentially going to be taking off because a person has a vacation, so they will not be available, and I'm not going to run the game without them there, given the heavy story focus. So, get a few games out of the way, get some experience under the belt, and then we can probably pick it up more so in August. As for conversation pieces, I know last week we talked a bit about Fire Emblem, and when it comes to Fire Emblem, I'm only aware of 3 houses. I have not played the other games, so I cannot speak to their quality. But I think 3 houses is in of itself a wonderfully detailed and I would say nuanced game when it comes to its characters and motivations and desires, goals, and whatnot. And I love pretty much every character in 3 houses to some extent. I don't think that there's like a specific, character that is completely horrible in terms of how well they're written and how good of a character they are. Them being people and what I would consider a good person, that does vary. But I think that they're all great characters. I just don't like the discussion that is around some of them because it feels very... there's a weird cut and dry attitude towards some characters that I think does the game a disservice. I don't want to get into too many spoilers or anything like that, even though the game has been out for a while now. I would say that there is a bit of an uncomfortable dialogue around one character in particular. Well, not really that character, more like how they affect. In the Blue Lion's house, in 3 houses, there's Dedu, who is technically, in the grand scheme of the game, a foreigner to the mainland that you are playing on, and due to dramas, there is a very, 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 very heavy spite towards him and his people. And one that distinctly is not their fault and is something that they are unjustly accused of. But there's an interesting dynamic as other characters in the game are some of those people that hold that prejudice against him. And it's a little unnerving watching some of the dialogue about it from players on like YouTube and whatnot, because they so easily dismiss the actions of those that are acting prejudicial, bigoted, and racist towards this individual. It's really weird how quickly someone just being cute or attractive or waifu material will immediately switch and sway opinions about them. And to be fair, that's a bit of a generalization. There is more to the character that I am referring to being racist. Normally, for a game that's been out for so long, I wouldn't hold back names, but since this is a D&D show, you're not exactly coming here for Fire Emblem, so just in case this is a spoiler, I want to keep it as vague as possible. But yeah, it does just hit me as very odd when every character in this game has a set of positive and negative traits, and the biggest glaring negative trait of this person just gets wiped away because people, I guess, feel like the very, very passive-aggressive supports, for at least the first two supports, are enough, and then the third support, which happens years later with them not being at each other's throats, is signals that everything's okay now. It is such a weird line of thinking. But I'm still excited for Three Hopes. I really want to play that game. I have not played much of any kind of Dynasty Warrior game, so yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll just post a video on this channel separate talking about that issue, because I do want to talk more in depth on it, but I feel like it's inappropriate to talk about it here specifically. Let's see. What else is there that isn't depressing? Oh. I think I started this at some point and I just forgot about it, to my great shame. Please, for all one of you who probably watches this video, please watch and expand your view on D&D actual plays. There are so many great shows out there, from Mistletoe to, I promised I wouldn't do this, but I did this again, I forgot. From Mistletoe to Role Slaying, which is a show that features the Vine star Thomas Sanders, and it's actually just has 2 people in it. I have just started it, so I can't say much, but these 2 players and the DM seem really freaking cool, and I love them. So please tune into more of these shows. There are so many people with so many interesting stories that if you just give them the chance, it will broaden your horizon immensely and give you new ideas for what you might want to put into your D&D game or bring to your D&D game as a player.
I am back.
Welcome back.
Like how you're expanding your D&D worldview by watching this show.
Yep.
Exactly. If you're watching this show but not watching any of the popular shows, how?
Why?
Greatly appreciated.
Yes.
Greatly appreciated, but why and how?
But yeah, there's so many great shows out there, and I, for one, am super invested in trying to support as many creators as you can, because this D&D and tabletops in general, I should say, coming to the forefront of entertainment is possibly going to be one of the most revolutionary steps in entertainment, as some of the most popular broadcasts like Critical Role, and even lesser but still popular ones like The Unexpectables and Dimension 20 are creating shows and creating entertainment that does not require a massive amount of prior work just to get the production started. It is enabling people without professional criteria to become, popular and become and essentially get themselves out there much easier, as opposed to when it was just television and you had to know someone who knew someone who knew someone else in order just to get a shot.
Yeah, to even have a shot, yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can build your own on multiple different platforms.
Exactly. It's if people actually reached out to more of these smaller D&D channels or any TTRPG channel in which you have a game master who is creating the base of the story and the players exercising the story out to a more full one, I think that might just be the next revolutionary step when it comes to media, right after the advent of YouTube. Possibly. But who's getting 3 Hopes when it comes out?
I would love to get it, but I don't know if I'd be able to for a while.
Next
When
game
is
I
it coming?
purchase is going to be Hollow Knight, because I still haven't actually played that.
Fair.
Heard
3
good
Hopes.
things about it. About Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I've been given glowing recommendations. I've watched people play the game. Even my sister, who basically only plays the Paper Mario franchise and games like Paper Mario, loves Hollow Knight, and she's terrified of insects.
I mean, they do a great job at cutifying a lot of the insects in that game.
There's one area that gives me the creeps.
Yeah.
Specifically, the audio design is really what messes me up.
Mm. Have you ever played a Bug's Fable?
No, I have not.
It's a very cutesy Paper Mario-esque game surrounded by bugs, or with bugs as characters.
I'll have to ask my sister if she's played it. She's actually, while she doesn't speedrun herself, she's heavily into the Paper Mario speedrun community as well.
It's very cute and quite fun. Ooh, I had an idea for a race concept that kind of fills out a little bit of a niche for a lot of things. And that's a spirit inhabiting some sort of uh, a mannequin, or like that'll give you your animated armor player race, your haunted doll race, just a spirit
Yeah, different
inhabiting
subtypes depending on
objects.
different subtypes depending on what they are inhabiting.
Yeah, that would be a fun thing to play as. Especially then you can get creative with what is inhabiting the physical body. Kind of what I'm playing with Passive. Kind of a spirit inhabiting the body
Of your robot.
of a barrel, yeah. Well, a barrel bot.
This is the second character that I've played in a game with Big B where I've had a character have a panic attack and a bit of a breakdown after things have happened. First time with them is the DM, though.
Yeah, I believe he was telling me a lot about your other campaign.
Yeah. I do miss playing as Lynn, but that campaign had some issues.
Yeah,
But I still
I'm
have her
sorry.
sheet. Hey, things happen. I still have her sheet up on D&D Beyond in case I join a level 7 campaign.
Right. I'm sorry that you had to go through a bad D&D experience, but I'm happy that you were able to look past that and give it another shot.
I've been playing D&D since 2008 on and off.
That's a pretty good repertoire.
I started seriously playing in college with 4E, and then I played uh, Pathfinder, and I played various White Wolf tabletops. Like I've played a whole bunch of things. and I love it.
My
One
first
bad,
game was in college too.
yeah, one bad experience is not going to scare me off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even all that bad. I met some cool people. Just had some creative issues, and a couple people who joined were not people that I would usually, not people that I would like to have at my table. Playstyle wise, they're probably lovely people in general, but they weren't a good fit for a table that I am playing at.
Yeah. Mm. June 24th for the Three Hopes.
Mm.
So hopefully I can get my situation all situated before then.
Mm.
Especially before this heat wave gets too extremely bad.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that. My old car had busted AC when I was living in Florida and North Carolina,
Ugh.
so I know a touch of about that.
Yeah, and only one of the windows is working right now. Only one window working. The AC's broken. We are just stuck with it.
Mm. I stuck with that car until the engine started to die.
I don't know if we keep on abusing it with the not getting the heater or the coolant system fixed. Probably going to happen sooner than later.
Things will fall your way soon enough. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. I looked into those portable air conditioning things and oof, a little expensive. I haven't even started my job yet. My next newer job,
When do you start?
Tuesday.
Good day to
And
start. Good
then
day to start.
the payday is going to be 1 week after it,
Mm.
after next week, so sitting here with no money to be able to buy anything for quite a while.
Yeah, but your ship will come in.
Only hope. And it's surprising my mom actually got a job too. She
Fantastic.
hasn't she hasn't worked in so long. I am so proud of her.
Yeah, my mom got a new job recently too.
Yeah. She's worried about it because she's extremely weak and has no grip strength and
Yeesh.
everything, so
That's no fun.
jobs aren't really good for her.
But yeah, I'm very happy for your mom. I'm happy that you got a new job, and I'm certain that things will start playing out better for you.
Yeah, I really hope so.
In the near future, I'm hopefully going to get bumped from TA1 to TA2, which comes with a pay raise as well.
Nice. Everybody can do with pay raise.
Yes. I've only gotten one previous raise at a job that wasn't a cost of living adjustment.
Hmm. Okay, so still just missing Zalden.
And in about 15 minutes, I'll be here, but muting occasionally because my food will be here.
Okay. Not a problem. Yeah, boy, we're starting to groove in on the story, and I am very interested in seeing in which way these paths will lead.
Well, we're definitely going somewhere.
Malamon is for sure the dwarf that was separated and didn't attack, right? The Durgar.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
He's for sure that guy.
the gray skin is hard to forget. Oh boy. So I got recently recommended the show Owl House to watch.
I've heard good things about that show.
Yeah,
It's somewhat similar to Gravity Falls, or it was made by the same people. And that show is pretty good too.
It's another show that I've been meaning to watch, but I'm very bad at sitting down and watching things.
Yeah. And it gets harder when you get older and it's a kid show. You have to get through some of the kid jokes.
I tend to see, when it comes to like a kid show, I would categorize that more on the lines of like Paw Patrol or Teletubbies or something that is very much like nothing that is geared to have the audience ask any like narrative questions or have any intrigue in it. It's just there to be fun, loud, and colorful. While other shows like Gravity Falls and Owl House, I see more as like family programming.
Because there's
Where
stuff for the adults as well as the kids.
When there's also conversations that kids can definitely have and learn and grow from. It's not so adult like it's Inglorious Bastards or something
Yeah.
where it's like, what the fuck? But it's not so dumb and played out that you don't get anything from it. I think that's an important middle ground that
Yeah.
needs to be achieved.
That's fair. There's quite a few shows that are like that. Adventure Time is a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a personal fan of Steven Universe. That was a very good show.
Never started watching that one.
I mean, Last Airbender is probably the best example
Oh
of that.
my god, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I've been meaning to try and watch Korra.
the aesthetics in Korra are really amazing and really fun to look at. The problem with Korra is it's not even the fault of the writers or even the staff working on it.
They were only going to have one season initially, if I remember correctly.
Yep, they were only going to have one season, and then it got popular, so then they wanted another season. And then, to my knowledge, they never informed the writing staff if they were going to end the story there or not.
And I'm going to step away because my food just got delivered, so I will be right back.
Okie doke. Welcome back, Zalden.
Hello, hello.
We were just talking about the writing process of Korra.
And some popular family cartoons in general.
Yeah, I have seen probably 3 episodes of the first season of Korra when it was first airing, so I do not remember anything.
I wouldn't either.
That's more than I watched.
I was just mentioning how there's a noticeable problem in Korra with a lack of consistent. I don't want to say theming, but there feels like kind of a loose consistency, and that was basically based on the fact that Nickelodeon could not make up its mind whether or not it wanted to continue Korra or not, so they essentially just kept leaving the writers kind of hanging on whether or not they should continue. So that's why it feels like a lot of if you watch the season finales alone, it feels very much like the end of a series because they didn't know whether or not that was the end of the series.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. I've heard something about that in general discussion. I was completely lost in it, but I definitely remember hearing something like that about there being a lot of behind the scenes kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Chaos, I guess is the best way I can put it.
Definitely. Well, um, we'll wait till. Oh,
I am here with my food.
okie doke. Then I think it would be okay for us to begin again with a little bit of light chatter as greeting you is a semi-familiar face who is currently hugging Boxbot.
Wait, I do remember you. You're the person we gave the food to.
Yeah, right. You did. I never got to properly say thank you for that, but thank you.
You're you're welcome, and it's just now clicking that they're speaking the same language. It's like, oh, you can understand me.
Yeah. Was there something in the food you gave me? And he kind of backs up a little bit, not in like a defensive position, but more just generally curious.
No, not that not that I'm aware of. At least there shouldn't have been anything wrong with it.
I don't think so.
It was just normal rations. Nothing special, really.
Weird.
This is a realm of stories, after all. Weird things happen here.
I I have heard that a little bit up here, but sorry, it's I am absolutely ecstatic to see you again, and I'm glad you didn't have any troubles on your journey so far. I just it's been quite a couple of weeks for me too. I don't even know where to begin. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Well, that's fine. For starters, I guess, since we both seem to be traveling in the same way, we can just walk and talk, catch up.
That sounds fantastic.
Alright.
Also wondering, we saw some old armor that you guys were wearing. Are you still with your original crew?
Oh no, they're dead, so no.
Oh,
Ah,
so sorry to hear that.
Oh no, after you left, I killed them.
Oh,
Congratulations?
oh, so they didn't even get to see the prank. Dang it.
See, that's the thing, kiddos, is that, you know, a good chunk of, well, the people that are sent up to the surface like we were have one goal and one goal only, and that's to bring some others down back home with us for slave labor. I never quite cared for that, so I never really liked to help in that regard, but I still got dragged along anyway. You just gave me the option to finally break free of that.
Happy to have helped.
So is that your armor back there? And we're worried that one of you guys got taken by this watery monster creature around that area.
I mean, I can't see how it would be when, after you guys left, I went up to them and I slit all their throats and then took what they had on them. And I made my way to, oh God, what was the name of that place? I think they called it, and he kind of looks down at his shirt, and you guys notice on his shirt, the front of it, the writing says "I Heart New Pass" on it.
New pass?
Yeah, that was it. That's what they called it.
They were talking about selling those shirts. I'm glad they started having them.
Oh, it looks so good, and like it's so comfy too, and they have these nice things that go over your feet, but they're not like part of the gambit to armor. It's really nice. Yeah,
That's what I've always wanted. Just more comfort than style. It's not worth being all fancied up when you can just be comfy.
exactly. And it was amazing. I sold most of my kinsman shit, and I got a pretty gold piece out of that. And then I just started, taking in the sights. I mean, we don't really get above ground at all very often. And usually when we do, it's, a violent encounter. So it was so nice just to be able to breathe some fresh air and just it sounds kind of cheesy. You were saying?
Live your own life, I said, as he was kind of taking that moment to think.
Yeah, I mean, I did, and it was amazing how fresh the air can be, and how warm it is up here, and how many he like reaches in his back pocket and takes out a book, and he's all like, there's these books with like pretty writing in it, and it's so just he kind of gestures to his head, the mind blown gesture. Also, does lightning tend to talk to you up here?
Not usually. That's definitely weird.
Yeah, no, that's a new one for me.
not super common.
Okay. Well, because when I got to New Pass and I started learning stuff and I could speak the tongue a little bit better, and I've always been a bit of a quick learner, but yeah, one night there was a freak storm that came by, and I was just kind of enjoying the rain and feeling water. Water, surprising, not very common underground where there's a bunch of magma. But I remember walking by this big, like, pot of water, and I just heard some wind moving in the air and just rain everywhere. And then it got really, really bright, and I'm fairly certain I got hit by lightning.
Oh, that's a very small chance of happening.
Yeah,
And that the fact that you're still alive, means that you're very lucky.
yeah. Glad to see you're okay.
It also
Oh.
means that the likelihood of it happening again is practically zero.
Uncle Bartholomew always said that if you got struck by lightning, somebody meant for that to happen.
I think that uncle of yours is on the right track, because I got hit by lightning, but it didn't hurt. In fact, and he kind of holds up his hand, and you see as he does so, jumping between his fingers are little strings of lightning dancing around. I feel a bit different ever since then.
Oh,
Oh,
That's so cool. So you said that the lightning talked to you, but what did it say?
It's weird. I know it said something to me, but, like, I'm not 100% sure what it was trying to communicate. It's kind of like when you met us, and like we were saying words at you, and you knew that we were saying words at you, but it didn't just quite click in what that meant.
speaking different languages. And it's just a language that's so unrecognizable that hard to tell.
Do you think you can repeat it?
I mean, it kind of sounded like, and he speaks a very guttural and very deep tone. Before I get to Leanna, do either of you speak Giant?
No, I do not.
I don't think I would.
I don't think so either.
I highly doubt it. Yeah, no.
Leanna, as he speaks, you can kind of make out some words that he's saying, but it's less that the circlet isn't able to translate it, but he's not speaking it correctly. So it's kind of like here is something, something, fall, something, something, maybe ketchup. It's a weird kind of broken interpretation of the language that even your circlet is having a hard time trying to figure out what this man is trying to fucking say.
Huh.
Understandable. He only heard it once, and
Well, definitely a language.
Oh, do you know what kind?
Would the circlet tell me that?
Let me look up, because I did change the language spell that is tied to it. Because comprehend languages wouldn't make sense. It was just, it's actually tongues. Nope. It doesn't tell you what language it is, just that you can understand it.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure. However, we are going to... Where we're going to speak to... We look for a sage of some kind. Maybe they'll be able to tell.
Yeah, I was just kind of exploring myself up here. I mean, if you don't mind a tag along.
Not at all.
yeah, that's fine.
It's always good.
Cool. Yeah, I would love to. This is so great. I mean, ever since I've met you, my life has just been amazing. And in a moment and burst of glee, he brings his arms down and then back up, and you see a gust of wind kind of twirl underneath him and carry him up into the air and move him 10 feet ahead of you guys. Woohoo!
That is so cool.
I know, right?
indeed.
That's awesome. Alright, let us continue our journey to the rust yards.
Okay. So, despite the ugly, hot and humid weather, you guys did happen to manage to encounter and, for the moment, seemingly, enlist the help of a friend. So you would be... Where would you be at the end of this journey? Let's see. Map. Okay. Okay. So Rust Yard is still a decent bit away. I would say by the end of this journey, you guys... Once the humidity seems to die down and the weather is at least relatively normal, you guys are met with the sight of a really wide and really rushing river. And beyond the river, standing tall hall is a building of notable size. It is partially blocked and obscured by a wall that seems to be encircling it. And you can hear, even from the distance and beyond the rushing of the water, the chatter and lively conversations of people just beyond it. You, Leanna, would very easily know, as you've been here multiple times before, that you have arrived at Bronzewatch.
And this is Bronzewatch.
Okay.
That's a big building.
Yeah. Do we want to spend some time here or skirt around, since we didn't intend to come here just yet?
Well, I think that yes, we didn't mean to come here. We know that things have happened or are happening here.
Yes.
I'm a little worried to have what might happen if we put it off for too long. I don't know how long is too long.
And I'm also worried if we go in there without everything we were looking for.
Also true.
No harm in scouting it out. See what's going on.
How does hopping in, see if anything seems obviously odd? If not, then we take a quick rest in the city, gather ourselves, and head out soon after. I just really worried.
Sounds alright to me.
If that's the vote, that's the vote.
Okay.
Alright.
So, as you guys take the bridge that is going over this massive river,
Leanna sticks to the middle so she's not able to turn her gaze and look down into the water either side.
the bridge itself is very similar to like the width of a freeway bridge, and I would say the length of the river, or the width of the river, is about that of like if you doubled the Mississippi. As you guys head over, you notice that the bridge itself is this kind of baby blue stone color, and along it are many different posts, those being specifically more of a natural brown wood color, and many different postings for jobs, for, you know, help wanted, bounties, etc. Can I get you all to roll a perception check for me?
Alright.
Perception.
27.
Perception. 5.
Passeth, at the moment, you're just kind of acknowledging the sturdiness of the wooden posts themselves, as they don't seem to be rotted. They seem to be in remarkably good shape.
That's some good swamp wood.
As for you, Estelle, and you, Leanna, also, your Durgar friend is just drinking in the sights. He is, if he had a camera, he would be taking a picture like every 3 seconds.
Fucking tourists.
Yeah, but he's our tourist.
Is he though?
Right now, yes.
For now. Apologies.
No problem. You would both be able to recognize a repeating bounty sign that at first kind of just, passes your vision, but you notice the value to it is kind of weird, because you notice that it seems to be X'd off multiple times, and the digits below it seem to be getting bigger and bigger.
Okay, that's weird. Estelle's going to go and see to get a better look at it, because that's concerning.
Leanna?
Sorry, space for a second. What does the figure on the bounty board look like?
Are you going up to look at it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you join Estelle to look at the figure. And you look at it and you notice that it appears to be feminine, but then you notice the tusks. And you notice kind of long hair, seems to be done up in braids, and there's a mean scowl on their face.
Do I recognize this orc woman?
I would say, looking at it long enough, it looks, the artist depiction is a bit weird. I mean, it could be someone that you recognize from before.
From months ago. I am completely blanking on the orc woman's name from when we started.
Right. Wasn't it Seokylia, I believe?
Indeed
That's
it
a name
was.
that's come... Yes! Good memory for once.
And you notice under her picture there is the figure that says 100 gold, cross out, 500 gold, cross out, 5,000 gold, crossed out, 50,000 gold, crossed out, and just underneath it, it doesn't have a figure anymore. It just says a king's ransom.
Does it say what she's wanted for?
Indeed it does. It says, let's see if I can, let's see what it was. To go back to the notes at the beginning. So it says, the first one says sedition. And then it says, the practice of necromancy. Assault of an officer. Attempted murder of an officer. And attempted murder of a royal official.
Well now, that's quite the rap sheet.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I know that you didn't want to go in, but at this point, I think we should.
Well, we were already on our way, so no real reason to stop, I guess.
Yeah. This feels like something that we should try to help with.
Speaking theoretically, if I were someone who committed all of these, I wouldn't be anywhere near where someone was looking.
That's true. Who knows? We'll keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Okay. You guys continue on until you cross over the bridge, and about 50 or so feet away from the bridge, the road forks, kind of half forks, and you can take a left into the large portcullis that enters into the city, or continue on down your path.
Sure.
As you guys, I'm guessing, go into the city.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. There's a pair of guards waiting there, and they first look at you, Estelle, kind of curious more about your clothing than anything. Then they see Passeth and are just baffled. Then they look over at you, Leanna, and let me roll something really quickly. Okay. They both look at you, both, well, actually, one is human, one is half-elf. And they both kind of look at you, and then look at each other, and kind of give each other like a, knowing nod. And then they look at your fourth member. The human speaks up. Ooh, is this individual with you?
Yes, he's with us.
What business does a dark dwarf have in Bronzewatch?
He's just traveling with us. We're just stopping in for the day.
Seeing the sights.
Lana, roll me a persuasion check.
16.
Well, as long as he doesn't leave your sight, it should be fine. Just keep a close eye on that one.
Of course, of course.
And they nod and open up the gate entrance. To be a little bit more elaborate, the wall itself looks like it's made up of a brick-like substance, except it's a bit darker, and it's this weird mix of dark and shiny. One could almost say bronze. And there are multiple entrances further on as you look, although they're more kind of curved around the perimeter of the city itself. This just happens to be the first one after you get off the bridge. And this one is a little bit smaller than the other ones, about 12 feet tall, about 8 feet wide, so not a terribly huge entrance. But nevertheless, they let you in, and you have entered the city of Bronzewatch. The first thing that you notice entering into this city is that the music is going to change. You know, I have so many, like, just, oh, here's a nature soundtrack, here's this, here's, you know, something that sounds calm and relaxing, and I just realized I don't have anything for a city. Because I got so used to looking for stuff for Shiroknatau. No, come on. So in the meantime, while that's being dealt with, when you guys enter the city, you first notice that the actual place is a bit different from New Pass and even Shiroknatau in that it lacks any natural elevation. The ground here is terribly flat. Everything is on the same level, essentially. The crowd around seems to be mostly comprised of humans, elves, and half-elves. The structures are, to put it as plainly as I can, very reminiscent of what you would assume a fantasy city or a medieval fantasy city to appear as. Wooden structures, houses all kind of cobbled together in a line with a road in the middle. The actual construction of it seems to be a bit non-gridded. Like, New Pass feels very gridded, very laid out and planned out. This has a lot of curves and interlocking roads and
New York
some
versus
dead
Boston.
ends. Yeah, kind of like that. A lot of dead ends, a lot of almost what feels like nonsensical decisions. But there are plenty of marketplaces and stands, a lot of people hawking their businesses outside with big smiling faces, trying to entice whoever they can to check out their wares, their foods, to stay a night at their inn. There is not as much going on in terms of sheer foot traffic like New Pass, but compared to Shiroknatau, which felt very calm and serene and natural, this feels, once again, busy, plenty of people, plenty of things to look at. And I would say the most notable thing after just looking for a little while would have to be the portion of the city that you noticed before you even entered, which happens to be this almost spire-like castle extending high into the sky. And Leanna, again, you would be very familiar with this structure, as when you were normally coming to Bronze Watch, you were always told by your parents to be on your best behavior, because Bronze Watch is indeed home to the presiding royalty over Tiān 2, and that is their castle.
And Leanna will pass that along. If we, for some reason, find ourselves over towards that spire, that building, be as polite as you possibly can, and be very deferential. That is where the royals live.
I'll definitely try my best to, not be an idiot.
Are they as big as jerks as the Bay royalty?
I haven't met Fey royalty, so I cannot give a comparison.
They are pretty big jerks.
Let's not give them reason to be upset with us.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, but ooh, you could breathe in their direction wrong and they'll snap on you and turn you into a frog or worse.
They're not that bad. Talking about the royals here at Bronze Watch, they are not that bad.
That's good.
Give me a history check, Leanna.
Boy, I'm so good at these.
Nice.
Actually, a good one. 18.
18. As you think back to what you know about the royal system itself, your father actually would have been the one to tell you, as he seemed to be very more inclined to abiding by rules and authority. After your visit with Shiroknatau, you're pretty certain why you understand why your mother wasn't very keen on it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm gonna stop with the creepy kid music, and I'm. Let's see. Is this one better? Nope. That is Strahd. Okay.
Oh, boss fight.
Bro,
yeah.
what are
Alrighty,
you
which
doing
one?
here? Clasp hands, yo, son of a bitch.
I think I'll
hey,
keep.
I do radiant.
I think I'll just keep the forest. So, as you recall this information, you remember that your father informed you about the currently presiding queen of the country, but you also remember that he. Hold on, I gotta bring up my notes. Notes. that he brought up the queen, which you remember the name as Veneth Aban Orgo, which I will put in chat for you guys to see. Do. Veneth Eban Orgo. And you would remember him telling you that she did take a husband, and that individual is indeed king, but no one has ever seen him. And you would not know the name of this individual.
Liana will pass all that info along.
That's odd.
You'd think someone being as powerful as a king would want to flaunt that.
If the king is the one with the power.
I mean, he's got to have some sort of power.
And
Obviously, he's not standing as a prized husband. No one's ever seen him.
I haven't seen him. That doesn't necessarily mean no one has.
Maybe he's used for special occasions.
Don't know.
So you're here. What do you wish to do?
I actually have something very important to do. I need a blacksmith. Usually I'd like to do this myself, but it involves metal. Can't exactly do too much with metal.
Iron specifically, I assume?
Actually, no, platinum. And, I'll need your, both of your finger measurements for
Okay.
rings.
Okay.
Alright.
A very specific, ability thing that I can do that will require platinum rings, 50 gold worth of each. So I can afford one for me. Can't really afford one for both of you.
Well, we have money.
Right. That's if you would like to spend 5 platinum on it.
I mean,
You just
We
got the
we
money
have-
too.
yeah.
But I promise it's very nice. Very nice thing that I'll be able to make with these bands. And I figured I can probably use it as a belt.
Platinum belt. Now that would be something.
That Yeah, that would be interesting.
I'll have to fiddle with it so that it's comfortable.
We just
Someone
opened
open a
something.
chest.
Sorry, I forgot to mute my phone.
What's in the chest? What's in the chest?
Someone going
It's
live on Twitch.
What's in the box?
it's a flash grenade nut. That's weird. Deku seed.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, if you ladies would like to go to the blacksmith with me,
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
Malman, would you like to come with, or would you like to sightsee?
Well, one of us has to stick with him. At
That's
bare
true.
minimum.
Yeah, it'd probably be best for him to stick with us.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You'll be able to see what some topside blacksmiths are able to do. Some of them
Ooh.
not. Some of them don't do nearly as good of a job as a dwarf, but there's some beauty in all blacksmiths' crafts.
Hey, everyone needs to get by.
Indeed.
You are very much not like your kin that we met.
When you're surrounded by that for years, it becomes more burdensome and tiresome to try and act like that when it's just not in your soul.
That's fair.
Makes
That's
sense to me.
respectable.
Okay, so you guys are looking for a blacksmith. Roll me an investigation check, whoever is looking.
My investigation should be pretty good. Well, it's only a +4. Oh, that's a 17.
Okie doke. Again, a lot of people are selling themselves, so it doesn't take very long to try and find someone who's hawking a blacksmith, stand or location, and you actually come up to one. It has a small boy on the outside. He has long pointy ears. He looks to be a sun elf, darker skinned, hair braided and tied back, as he has his hands cuffed to his mouth and he's calling out, "Come to the Sunrise Blacksmith. There's no better in town."
Well,
That's a good
we-
start. Plus, I heard that some elves are very good with the jewelry. So these might actually be very nice.
And the boy spots you guys in particular and says, "Hey, do you need anything made? We can whip it up right away."
Yeah, we're actually looking for some platinum rings.
Well, I'm sure the blacksmith will be able to handle whatever you need. Hold on one second. Mom! We have customers! And a beat passes. And then another one. And then you start hearing the sound of heavy footsteps. Boom, boom, boom. And the area that you're at right now seems to be very Skyrim-esque. There's a forge on the outside, and it's connected to a house. And it seems to be the house is about 2 stories, so you hear someone, what sounds like is walking down some steps. Boom, boom. And then the door opens gently, and you see before you the most jacked elf you have ever seen in your life. This woman stands at 6'2", has muscles like the size, like her biceps are the size of Leanna's torso. Like
Her muscles have muscles.
Yes.
Please don't squish me.
She is darker skin, much like her son, ruby red lips. Her hair is a golden color, also in braids. Her eyes are a intense shade of hazel. And she looks down to you and says, "Is there anything you need?"
We are in the market for some platinum bands. We have 5 platinum each to go to these platinum bands.
Quite an expensive endeavor. May I ask what this is for?
It's a component for a certain idea that I have going around in my head. Something that can be quite protective of my fellows.
And you want 2 ring? You want how many bands?
1 for each of us.
3.
One for me, one for each of the ladies.
Okay. For shits and giggles, I'm gonna roll an insight check real quick.
Oh no.
Now, okay. Yeah, if she rolled low, she was immediately gonna assume these were wedding bands.
I mean, it's warding bonds, so they're kind of. It's kind of the spell to get married.
Oh, I know exactly what they're for. I was gonna see if it was going to be. Well, that is more than doable. I can have this done fairly soon. Were you providing the materials, or was I going to be making it from my own stock?
I only have the platinum coins to purchase them.
Okay, then I can charge it from my own stock. Or when did you need these by?
As soon as you're able to. I don't know how long we're gonna be in town. Just checking things around town. We might spend the night.
Okay. So no time frame on that specifically. Let's see here. So 2 bands, which wouldn't be much, but due to the fact that they're platinum, that would probably raise the price up to So I can, if I have a full 2 days in order to accomplish this, I can accomplish this task for 55 gold pieces per band.
Does that sound right with you two?
Yeah.
Yeah, should be okay. Wait, do we have enough for that?
I mean, we split that reward evenly, so I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you
Yeah,
two should have enough too.
yeah, just okay. Bad at bad at math. Sorry, couldn't remember right off the top of my head. But yeah, we do.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, I will get on it right away. I will have it done in 2 days' time.
All right. See you
Thank
in
you very
2 days.
much.
Not a problem. And you see her head over to the forge, and the kid starts hawking again immediately.
Apologies, I need to go let the dog out. He is barking his head off at me.
No problem. So, with that, what are we doing?
Wonderful. That's a big thing that I needed to get done.
Okay. Um.
How's everybody on?
At Universal Studios Hollywood, we test everything to make.
Oh,
Are you okay?
Yeah, I was just looking at... That's going to be great on the recording. I was just looking at Fantasy Name Generator, and it just blasted a fucking ad in my ears.
oh no.
Oh no.
And that gets picked up by the computer, so that's going to be great.
We're so
You-
sorry, listeners.
Deepest apologies.
guys-
Headphone warning around this time frame.
You guys were saying?
The biggest thing would probably be to
I'm back. Sorry about that. He did not want to go out. He just wanted attention.
oh
Sounds like a puppy.
yeah.
Yeah, but he's 10.
Ooh, that's an old puppy.
And now he's back to barking at me.
The first thing we should do is, I think, to get a definitive place for us to rest, and then after that, then we can decide how to plan the rest of the days we'll be here.
Makes sense to me.
All right. To an inn/tavern, and we can get some information there too.
Okay. What kind of inn are you looking for? Cheap, expensive, moderate?
Well, since I just spent a lot of my money, it probably goes a little bit on the cheaper end.
Definitely gonna go for
Inexpensive.
yeah, inexpensive, not cheap, but inexpensive, moderate.
Wizard spells are expensive.
They want you to have so much money to learn them. They want you to have the money to cast them.
Thankfully, this
Okay.
will go along along a good long way.
So again, just going throughout the town and looking around to see what is there. There is a tavern that you do, a tavern/inn that you do come across, called the Telltale Tapper. And it looks relatively inexpensive from the outside, at least.
Looks like as good a place as any.
Or if we really have to, we can go outside the city and camp.
That's also true.
The dog agrees.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, but beds are nice.
They are.
I wouldn't want to deny you two beds.
I'm used to not necessarily having a bed when traveling. You think Dad has one when we walk from place to place? He was bigger than the elf lady.
Oh, geez, really? I haven't met your dad. That that's scary.
He's a strong man.
Yeah.
I do believe, yes, I remember you telling me about that. Does he have a magnificent mustache? That's
Yes.
very important for strong men.
Yes, he
Okay,
does. Meticulously maintained.
that's very good. Unfortunately for Faye, we are not able to grow mustache or any facial fear or any facial hair that luxurious.
A true tragedy.
Especially when you're growing up with dwarves.
So, are you guys camping outside?
Yeah, and if they want to save the money.
Yeah,
Yeah, that will probably be best because we did just have a rather large expense.
So,
Angry puppy.
no, just excited.
so, with that being said, you've decided to camp when evening comes. What are your plans?
Well, we do have to the uh the bands wouldn't be ready until 2 days, so that is uh just so I understand it correctly, that's uh that was
Does this include today?
yeah. Is it today and the next day it'll be ready, or is it tomorrow and then the day after tomorrow it'll be ready?
48 hours from the moment you ordered it.
Okay.
Okay.
So wait tomorrow, pick it up the next day.
Yes.
Yep. And Malamon, you okay with camping?
Just gives you two big thumbs up.
You have your own tent, I assume. You've been traveling quite a lot.
I mean, I kind of just slept in the dirt anyway, so it's not really a big change for me.
Uh, yeah, that's understandable.
Uh, well, hey, since we're traveling buddies now. You can tell us a little bit about your travels and everything. And while he's regaling us with some stories, I can work on a little gift for him. Probably something very simple, just a little wood carving of a dragonfly. Something
Okay.
for him too.
As Malmun starts, you know, talking about his past and the various things that he did before he started traveling back up north. You know, he got into some poetry readings a bit. He got, you know, heavy into some new age philosophy. He went full like hipster tourist. And as his words kind of drone out a little bit, there is something that does draw your attention without even needing to roll, as I think Leanna would notice it first. As you guys are walking by one of the various buildings, there's seems to be a sign that is set up, and a design intricately painted on seems to be present. A single figure cloaked in shadows, but donning what appears to be an elegant dress of some sort. Her face also cloaked in the shadow. Her arms extended in somewhat of a pirouette stance, extended out elegantly. The background is completely white, and you see on top of it, written in elegant yet kind of a dark wine red font, it says Monale Performance, one night only.
Lana freezes. Does it say the date?
It would indicate that it would be tomorrow evening.
Another reason to stay. That's a Layla.
Is it?
He said if it is.
What hells? Maybe they can use another performer. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
No, if that's my sister, my missing sister.
Yeah, no, we're definitely crashing that, right?
Yeah, we're definitely going.
That's what I was getting at.
Well, guess we should get some good rest for tomorrow then.
Most definitely.
So, I'm going to take the liberty of fast forwarding a little bit.
Okay.
As more of the sightseeing goes on, you guys hear more of your new traveling companion stories, and as the day winds down to an end, you are permitted to leave camp. You may camp just fine, given that there's a huge building next to you. You do get a few odd looks, especially you, Leanna, from the guards, as to why you're kind of camping out, but they just kind of shrug their shoulders and move on.
Also, that's a 18 for my craftsmanship on a little wooden dragonfly
Okay.
from Melman.
It's coming along, but there's a few more edits that you want to make to it, just so it's just right. You don't want it to look, rushed.
All right. Just gotta keep him alive so we can give it to him.
A new day. That's a dark way to put it. A new day dawns, and you guys are greeted with sunlight and the possibility of a new day. Leona, you would know that the premier theater and the theater that was indicated on the sign was the Watchtower Theater, which is located not too terribly far away from the main castle, literally about 300 feet away.
So not a far trip for the royals when they want to see something.
Exactly. So, how are you guys going to be crashing this party?
Get tickets and go in through the front door.
Okay. So you go up, and there is a man, human male, has a pencil-thin mustache, hair slicked back, a red twin-tail coat on, as he looks down at you and says, "Can I help you?"
Yes, we'd like tickets to tonight's performance.
Of course, of course. How many tickets are we looking at?
4.
4 tickets. That sounds amazing. That will be 300 gold pieces per ticket.
Huh. Should have figured that Allie would be charging quite a bit. But I didn't expect it to be that much. Huh.
Is that normal prices for shows like this in this town? In this city? Or is this a special occasion? That seems a little high.
Who are you asking?
The ticket vendor.
Well, tonight is a special occasion, so the performance troupe thought it was only fitting. We have already quite a bit of the tickets sold, so the price also does go up with the scarcity of the tickets.
I assume you two don't want to reveal big factors.
Yeah. She's
Okay.
gonna mutter to herself, really don't want Allie to know we're here. There's a lot more than I was expecting when I saw the sign.
It doesn't help that it's one night only. So they're making it a rare occurrence.
Yeah, she usually doesn't perform alone.
Mm,
Leanna would like to insight this man, because if he knows who Alayla is, he likely should know who she is, and wants to see if he knows, if he's able to tell who she is by looking at her.
Okay. Insight.
Yep. 22.
22. You do notice that he is kind of looking at you once or twice a little bit. A small squint of the eyes as he's looking over you, but he's not like sweating nervously,
Yeah.
nor is he like kind of like tapping his fingers impatiently. He doesn't appear to be nervous, but he does appear to be looking at you with some extra intent, as if he's scanning you for some reason.
She is going to nod and lean close and whisper conspiratorially. I didn't know my sister was performing when we came into town. I didn't know she was going to be here. And I'd like to see her and keep it a surprise.
Ah, your sister. Right, I understand. Like you... sorry. Your sister. Right.
Yeah.
And who might you be?
I am Leanna Monale.
Like the other Leanna Monalés, and he gestures over, and you see what I can only describe as a couple of cosplayers in a similar attire as yourself.
She just looks at them with disdain. What would I have to do to prove that I am myself?
I am merely a ticket vendor. I am not security, nor do I allow people to go in under any kind of pretense. Unless they have a ticket, of course.
You have no idea how annoyed Leanna is for the first time that she has fans. And she's also super upset with herself for having the sense of morals to not just steal tickets at this point in time.
I must say,
Who
though,
would I have to speak to at security to prove that I am myself?
I will be right back, I guess. And he takes a step away from his stand, and he is standing currently in front of
Because I
the
do want
watch.
to surprise Alayla.
He is currently. You guys are standing in front of like the watchtower building, and it is a very much like a kind of
Big B.
classical theater building. It has the kind of triangular extension
died?
with.
We don't have any audio.
Hello? Hello? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's...
Oh, he
That's-
can hear us. Oh, that's fun.
Oh boy.
No.
Oh, he can. Okay.
Okay. That's not good. Test. Oh, boy. Oh, my mic is still picking up. We're gonna pause real quick here, folks. Be right back. Okay, we're back. Everything is good. That was weird. So, like I was saying, the theater itself is much like a normal classical theater with the kind of pyramid extension out with the words that would fit up top describing what is playing that evening. It's fairly tall, a very fit building set for a fairly large audience. Unlike most of the other places you would perform at, Leanna, this place is fully enclosed. It is not an open air arena. And so he heads in, and you guys wait, and wait, and wait. 20 minutes. 25 minutes.
Okay.
30 minutes.
Why do I have the feeling he's not going to come back?
Sometimes this can take time.
Just because he has some unsavory customers doesn't mean that he should abandon his post. Maybe he's on lunch.
Why do I feel
They're
like
more
he's gone?
professional than that here.
Why do I feel
And
like he
about-
might be going to take that?
Sorry.
You're good.
At about the 45-minute mark, he comes back, and there is an individual next to him, a human female, fair-skinned, and she has her hands clasped in front of her, her dress, professional attire, kind of a bit of a business, not suit top, but I guess kind of a little bit looking like a corset with long sleeves and pants underneath, a beige theme color to it. And she approaches and says, there appears to be a problem here. Is there a way I can assist?
Hi. I understand that there are cosplayers of people dressed like me and claiming to be me, but I am Leanna Monolay, and I just found out when we came here that my sister is performing tonight, and I would very much like to see her. I haven't seen her in a while, and I'd like to keep it a surprise. I simply want to know how I can prove that I am who I say I am.
Okay. I mean, the only way that I could possibly verify that, I mean, you do look very familiar, but the only way I could verify that is if your sister herself verified it.
And I want to keep it a surprise, which makes things incredibly difficult to do that way.
Give me a second. And the woman, and she turns back before she enters the building, and it won't be more than a second. And she enters the building. This time she's only gone for about a minute or so. And she comes back, and she says, her posture is a little bit stiffer this time, and her arms are folded neatly behind her back. There are a few different ways I can think that a member of the Monolay family would be able to prove themselves, and maybe if we think fast. And she immediately lets go of 3 kind of spherical, not very large, but a little bit heavy balls, and kind of throws them at you. Can I get a performance check?
Sure. 26.
26. As the balls are launched towards your face, in a moment that's kind of escaped you over the past few times you've attempted, you feel yourself kind of go into almost that fugue state when performing, and you immediately go into one of your routines. The 3 different spheres being launched into the air, twirls and twists, different kinds of flourishes added onto the performance, and like a pro, you end with a bow. Well, that was quite impressive.
Thank you.
Is there any particular reason why... I get the whole wanting to surprise someone, but is there any particular reason why your sister shouldn't know that you're here? Because it is kind of hard to keep a ticket of such high value going unnoticed by the performers that would obtain this revenue.
I haven't seen her in quite a while, and I honestly didn't know that she was going to be here, so I want the whole thing to be a surprise.
And I'm assuming that your traveling companions also want to visit this show?
They would, yes.
I can assure you I won't be taking up too much space.
Are you in box spot right now?
Yeah. Centaur mode.
Okay.
You
She
will
just
have
looks-
to leave. You will have to leave that by the door to not take up that much space.
Right. Oh, right, yeah. And the hatch opens up and I poke my little head out. Hi, how's it going?
Oh, a fairy. Okay. Okay. That makes this interesting. Okay. So, how about this? You come into the show tonight, and as payment, we get a performance out of you the next night.
Of course.
Good. That covers your payment. Now what about you? And she looks over to you, Passeth.
Under my breath. Here we go.
I mean, there's always the chance that, given how superstitious the theater world is, a passing good luck charm from a fairy would always be appreciated.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Roll a deception check.
Oh, no.
Because you know that's not a thing.
Deception. Oh, goody, it's a natural 1.
Oh no.
He might
Oh,
think it's not a thing, but
goody.
superstition in a theater. So even if it isn't a thing, it also could be a thing.
Yeah, it just comes out more like, sure, why not? I could do that. Totally.
She squints at you and says, "You're not planning on watching the show and then just skipping town, are you?"
No, we have further business.
She has a bit of a frown on her face as she pulls back and just kind of keeps that side eye on you for a hot few seconds. And yourself, what can you offer? And she looks at you, Estelle.
Well, I can too out of character. Fine. There we go. I know that Janessa Monolake usually gives various readings and tells stories, and I know how to do that too, and I have plenty of different stories.
So, you wish to stand up on stage and tell the audience stories?
Why not? And if not that, then I could probably find some way to help out Leanna.
Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Alright. Persuasion. Go. Disadvantage. Double 17.
Damn. Yep. Okay. She looks at you, her frown kind of disappearing a little bit. I'm sure, given, as she's looking up and down your garb, and given where you've probably come from, you have plenty of stories to tell. That's sellable. And and then she turns to Malmum and just sees the most tourist-looking dude in existence. And goes, "Oh, I don't think I should ask." "Well, if you're gonna ask, I have plenty of things I can share." And he just starts taking out like souvenirs and shit. Like, "Oh, I found this neat little, like, they call it a snow globe. You can shake it, and look, it looks like there's snow on a lake. Yeah, they called it a lake." And then I have, and he's just pulling out shit.
Oh, fuck, no.
Leanna will lean over, hide her face behind one hand, and whisper, "You can do fish out of water comment."
Yes, I can tell. Tell me it's not contagious.
No, it well and truly isn't. He actually, that is actually him.
If we double up on the fairy luck, I think that I will just allow it to go because I'm afraid my theater is already cursed.
Little half-hearted jazz hands. Ha
Absolute scowl at you. And it better work. Fine.
Thumbs up.
Fine. If that's the case, you will be allowed in this evening. But for the love of all that is good in this world, you will put a cloak on that man and you will put him in the darkest corner.
Sure, we can do that.
I am going to take it upon myself once more to fast forward if there's nothing that you guys have planned.
Just getting a cloak for our friend so he can hide his garishness.
Easy enough. The proprietor of the theater, as she walks away, just immediately stalks back out, and just chucks a black cloak at his head. I refuse to be cursed by that. Ugh. And he just looks at it and goes, "Cool, souvenir."
Yeah.
And then just says to himself quietly, but audibly enough for you guys to hear, "I'll remember this as the time I was rejected from the theater world."
Now you just need a white mask.
Everyone's a critic.
Okay.
Also, who wants a pocket fairy?
I mean,
It
I've
sounded
already
a
got
little.
one, so what's another?
That sounded a little. That sounded a little bad.
Passive.
You're fine.
But, yeah, I've already got one fairy friend. Why not have a second?
I was gonna say you already have 2 shoulder fae.
No, I think the other one was celestial.
Yeah.
Shoulder spirit.
Well, I'm sure they wouldn't mind making her. No, Passeth would definitely have struggles with Sirius about making room. Anyway, you're good with me. Or if you want Leona. I don't care either way.
Doesn't matter to me. I'm in it for the show. I also need to make sure that nothing bad happens. I guess.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, go ahead. That was it. I guess.
Okay. So after a Batman transition, we yeah, exactly. We approach the evening as the crowds of people are being let in to the theater. There is a distinct hum of excitement and intrigue of what's to come tonight. And as the crowd is let in, you are, by order of the owner, let in last because, and I quote, no one will ever get the chance of possibly seeing Malman. As you are let in last, you see a wide theater that is actually set up. Many rows of seats ascending upwards. There's a crowd of like 400 people here.
Does this remind me of my dream at all?
Give me 1 second.
Little did they
At,
know, since he's at the exits, everyone's going to see him.
and this was the dream that described what again?
This was when Alayla said that she was selling the Monolith family, bitters, faceless people in a theater with Alayla on stage.
That dream. This does not remind you of the dream because that was a smaller house, kind of shack-like area. So this feels way too public as opposed to that private venue.
Okay.
But as you guys look around again, there's ascending seats, about 400, as it is jam-packed. You guys are actually basically on ground level, looking kind of up to the stage. You guys are at the back of the section that is directly in front of the currently setting up orchestra. But since you are below the balcony, it's hard to see anyone down there, so Malman is hidden. But like I said, there's an orchestra setting up in front of you and a wide stage before them. And as the murmuring starts to go down and the house lights, which are essentially gas-lidded torches in some regard, start to dim, the play begins. Do-do-do. And there's an immediate sense of heavy drama. as the orchestra begins to play. There starts out a figure clad in a dark black dress, her skin pale like the moon, her lips also a tint of shadow, her raven hair draped along her shoulders and descending down her back, enters onto the stage. The sound of her feet against the wood echoes, but in a way that seemingly complements the sound of the orchestra playing. The sound then transfers to chants, the music getting quieter, as on stage you see the figure begin to twist and twirl, her interpretive dance eliciting emotion of pain and regret, sorrow, and a sense of melancholy. As it continues, her frame begins to lose that sense of regret, becoming more sturdy, the interpretive dance conveying the message of trials and tribulations, a uncomfortable yet necessary step to move on from whatever came before. And as the music swells, there's an even more definitive step to her dance. The entire stage is her canvas, and she is a painter painting an image of a beautiful yet tragic tale. And then there's a moment in which she stops, and the music stops. And she's in the middle of the stage, spotlight on her, her hand over her heart, as it looks like she's taking a deep breath, almost like she forgot what was coming next, or maybe she needed to take a minute to breathe. There's there's murmurs and whispers of the crowd, in the crowd, who are currently trying to figure out, is this part of the show? Is she okay? As there's a heavy and pregnant pause over the scene. And then, give me 1 second. As that...
I think that during all this, Leanna would like to try an insight.
Ooh, yeah, insight. Go ahead and roll.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You're looking at your sister. You know this is your sister, definitively. It's weird to see her in this kind of dress, for one. She was never the one for this kind of girly attire, if you will. The makeup is weird, and she was never a dancer. She was a thrower, similar to you. She taught you that.
Yes.
And there is, you see in every step that she makes, in each emotion that is trying to be conveyed in this performance, you feel the genuine honesty in it. You feel the pain. You feel that she is conveying this past of hurt and of discomfort, and there is nothing here that you do not feel is a dishonest gesture. Was there anything specifically you wanted to glean from that?
mostly if what she was showing was genuine, if this was actually a Layla, and also on the pause.
As it gets to the pause, you're curious as well. I mean, your sister's in phenomenal physical shape. There's no way this winded her. So it's confusing at the moment. You're kind of with the rest of the crowd, unsure of what's going on.
Like what's going through Leanna's mind is not is she okay, but more did she notice me?
I will say with that being a specific query, essentially, you can see that her head is draped down, looking down at the stage. So she's not making eye contact with you. So you can feel pretty safe in thinking that she probably didn't see you.
Okay.
Can I roll medicine to see if there is anything wrong?
Oh, yeah,
Just
go
in
ahead and roll
case.
medicine.
23.
23. Looking at this individual, she doesn't appear to be, in any kind of noticeable pain. She's not, like, lurching out. She just seems to be stopped, like someone who's listening or waiting for something. Estelle, is there anything you wish to do?
The best thing I can think of is to put on the glasses and see if there's any invisible magics in the area, considering everything that we believe has been going on.
Okay.
I also just had an idea and a question.
Okay.
The circlet's interpretation does it only work on people in my party or people that I am very close with?
People in your party.
Okay, and my sister, despite being my sister, is not considered a person in my party.
No.
Okay.
You rolled investigation, or roll investigation, Estelle.
Yeah. I just always like to wait for actually being told to. Ooh, 14.
14. It's weird because the theater itself is filled with magic itself. There is magic coming from the lighting, as someone seems to be lighting some cantrips and maybe adjusting the color of it. There's magic coming from the torch scones, as they're using magic in order to edit or change how bright and dim it is. But I think at the moment Estelle's a little bit overwhelmed. You've never been in a theater like this before. This is a lot. And
Understandable.
as she takes this not quite half bow, but just holding herself, and everyone is murmuring what's going on, it then starts to change as the orchestra seems to be looking a tiny bit confused themselves as something else happens. A music starts playing, but not from the orchestra. As from stage left, a figure dressed in red with a white mask walks out onto the stage. Give me 1 second. And before you, you see what appears to be someone in a jester's outfit, although different. The mask white, a smile carved into it, a violin on his shoulder as he begins to play this music. This look on Alayla's face is a bright and happy one as he approaches her, and the music swells in the room. And now, all of you have seen this figure before, or if you haven't seen him, the music is enough to tell you. The Mad Maestro is here. And that is where we will end the session this week. Whew. Well, guys. And just think, if you would have skipped Bronze Watch, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And now also
Get
Leanna,
over here!
Leanna knows that she was being lied to by, I'm completely blanking on their names. Estelle's friends?
They are Soleil and Luan.
Yeah, Soleil and Luan. Luan was lying when he said that she would never see Alayla again.
Maybe.
This
But
might be a
that
simulacra, but it's still seeing her again in some way, shape, or form.
Very true.
Which is
We will
enough
have-
for Faye.
We will have to see coming next week.
Yes.
So yeah, that's about it for episode 9 of Tiān 2. Thank you all for tuning in, and we appreciate the view. We appreciate you watching. Please take care of yourself and have a wonderful day. See ya.
Indeed.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much for running.